Z101, the Mahindra Scorpio, or the mighty Scorpio I should say, because every market has these power brands, and in India when it comes to the automobile space, the Scorpio has certainly been one. Z101, the new generation, it's finally here. I say that because of course there's been a lot of anticipation around it. We know that there's been a little bit of a delay as well because of the pandemic situation, so can't wait to really dig in deep to find out everything about this new car. Now I've got lots of variants here with me, as you can see, because the car comes in petrol, diesel, automatic, manual, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and there are two kinds of four-wheel drive options, by the way. So lots to take you through. First impression is what I will immediately start with. Now, in terms of fit, finish, quality, it is screaming new and modern. In terms of look, it's probably a safe design. Mahindra has gone with what is recognizable instantly as a Scorpio. The Mahindra Scorpio is the car that has made this brand what it is today. First launched 20 years ago, this is now the third generation of the car. It is bigger, bolder, and just better in every way. They are calling it the Scorpio-N. Well, you can say that, or just say Scorpion, maybe. There's a lot I can talk about when it comes to the design of the new Scorpio. The first thing though has to be the fact that it's recognizable as a Scorpio, and that was of course intentional. You take one look at it, straight away you know that this is the Mahindra Scorpio. And the reason I'm starting with this point is because, well, there was a lot of discussion within the company which way to go with that. Completely fresh and different direction, or very much Scorpio-like. Of course you can see which direction they did go in. So the face, very imposing, the new logo. This is the typical signature of any Mahindra vehicle that certainly has been very prominently highlighted here. The face is nice and tall, the car looks butch and muscular, again that is intentional. Double barrel lights in the higher variants, these are of course LED lights, the projector headlamps, you will have halogens in the base. Lots of muscle, and again that has to be there when it's a Scorpio. So very squarish wheel arches, a lot of sculpting in the side body, and then the proportion of the greenhouse to the rest of the metal, you'll see that there's an exaggeration to the height and the amount of glass you see here. Again, Scorpio signature. Speaking of signatures, there are some nice little touches, because you all have of course talked about it right from the name reveal. Scorpio-N almost reads like scorpion. Of course, that's where the name originally comes from. You see that little stinger all through the car. Nice little motif here with the DRLs and the fog light. You see that? It's a little pincer from the Scorpion, and then you also see it in this little bit of chrome garnish that rides up. There it is again. So it's very subtle. It's only for those who will notice it, and I like it. It's a nice little signature. Chrome, of course, you see that at the higher end. Alloy wheels, 18 inches now for the first time on the Scorpio. The base version will have 17-inch steel wheels. At the back is where, again, it is typical Scorpio territory. Really upright, tall, and with the swing door, so it's not a hatch. That, again, a lot of debate. Which way should they go? They decided to go with what the Scorpio buyer is used to. And another signature of the Scorpio is, of course, the vertical tail lamp treatment. Nice and plain at the back in terms of not cluttering it up with a whole lot of detail or too much badging. It's just the Scorpio-N that you see over here. Looks nice on the black. This shade is called Napoli Black. The red that we've been showing you is Rage Red. And then you've got this, the car that you've seen in all the communication. It is Deep Forest. The reason I have this one here as well is to also show you that there is only one extra badge that does come in for XPLORE. That, of course, is the higher end four-wheel drive version that will have that badging. A little bit of chrome garnish at the back to wrap things around, and I have to say that the car looks distinct, it looks recognizable, and that's precisely what the company was going for. The exaggerated stepped roof of the old car is only there in notional terms, making the new Scorpio a bit shorter and more aerodynamic. But this is a three-row car as standard. you get 6 or 7 seat configurations only. The third row access is easy and nicely done. A simple one-handed tumble down action for row 2 and in you go. Okay, so is this roomy? No. Is it comfortable for adults? No. But then most third rows aren't. The good part though is that getting in and getting out is actually a lot easier than I had first imagined it would be. The seat is well finished, and when you don't need it, stores away by folding up quite easily in 2 steps. That then gives you 476 liters of boot space. There's only 125 liters of space with that third row in play. But you can fold flat row 2 and 3 for a deeper flat cargo area. That's 786 liters of space. Almost stadium-like seating, which means you're sitting a little bit taller back here. That's a nice thing. It's also a good hark back to the Scorpio heritage. Great view of the road, nice airy feeling back here too. Good. The other good thing, 6-seater version. So I've got captain seats in this one. You do have the 3-seater bench back here. But guess what? No 5-seater, which means that third row is standard. Yes, and it's only forward facing, no side facing jump seats anymore from a safety regulation point of view. That's a great thing. The captain seats, nice. They have this little drop down armrest. You have dedicated rear AC vents back here with their own controls, a USB-C charging point, which is a good thing to have also. And fit and finish wise, everything works quite nicely back here. So this second row seat doesn't slide forward or back. There's no rail back here. It's not a huge problem because of course the front ones do adjust, so you can have a little bit of manipulation of that space. But I'm not cramped for space back here, so it's not like a red flag as such. But surprising not to have it in this day and age. Now, besides that, the other little thing that could have been nice is to have that little scorpion pincer motif that you saw on the outside of the car showing up somewhere here in the cabin, maybe in the little grab handles or the door opening handle. It would have been nice to have, right? Because it would have been a signature of the car popping up inside the cabin too. That's missing. It's a little bit odd. The Scorpio claims better shoulder, head and legroom than even D segment cars. That's one segment higher. In fact, as much as 85 millimeters more legroom in row 3 than a car like the Toyota Fortuner. The 3D surround sound system has been carried over from the XUV 700. Now that may be just in the L variant, but the higher variants otherwise, of course, still get Adrenox also carried over. Now that's something that's going to play a huge role here because this time Mahindra says it's getting the variant production mix right because there is a lot of anticipation. The higher versions will be more in demand. With that, you get the 8-inch screen in this case, so a little bit smaller than on the XUV 700, but still very, very functional. Similar sort of layout, same sort of format and same sort of functions too in terms of the telematics connectivity suite and also of course smartphone connectivity, navigation and things like that. You do get the inbuilt SIM, so you have the connectivity or connected car features that also kick in here at the high end. Speaking of high end, the whole coffee and black, as they're calling it, layout on the inside works quite well. I think, you know, the whole upright position is very much in line with the Scorpio positioning. So that is something you're seeing very specifically here that's been done, again, with an intention to give that message visually. But little details like on the fore leather, you've got a little bit of the stitching line, matches the seats. The whole thing, I have to say, on the pictures when it first came out, I thought the brown was a little dull. In person, it looks a lot richer and a lot nicer. In terms of technology, you've got wireless charging, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, things like that, of course, will only go to cement that further. The Z8 and Z8L get dual zone climate control, while Adrenox Connect starts from the Z6 variant and up. I honestly felt the resolution of the touchscreen could be a lot better, and it needs to also be brighter in the daytime, especially in the afternoon sun. But otherwise, it's fully loaded, and that connected car suite gives you remote command and control of the car.
What is the tallest building in town?
There's also Amazon Alexa built in. The 4x4 variants get a rotary dial to switch to four-wheel drive. There's no more of that lever. There are 5 trims: the Z2, Z4, Z6, Z8 and Z8L. The luxury pack on the Z8L essentially gives you the Sony immersive 3D sound system, a front view camera and parking sensors, and a power adjustable driver seat. The captain seats in the second row are also only on the Z8L. I am driving the diesel first. It is being offered in 2 states of tune. The mainstay of the Mahindra range is the 2.2-litre M-Hawk. It is smooth and very torquey. There is an option of a 6-speed manual or the tried and tested 6-speed ISIN automatic gearbox, which is great. Huge amount of refinement, great sense of comfort, the torsional stiffness and the overall sense of rigidity from this chassis that I'm getting, the nice feel on the steering. Yeah, the first impression is this is a completely different car. Huge leap forward. It is the ride quality that will impress you even more than the performance. The car has a lot more stability now, feels a lot more sure, and it grips around corners even at higher speeds a lot better. And that's something that's not just the ESC that's working, but it's also specifically the work on that rear suspension. It is a double wishbone suspension in the front, but at the rear it is a PENTALINK suspension with a Watts linkage system. This uses frequency-dependent damping like on the XUV 700 to give you great ride that adapts to the road surface in real time. It's only on speeds above 120 that a little bit of that bounce starts to set in. But the good part is it gets compensated nicely by the ergonomics of the driver's seat. At higher speeds and relatively higher RPMs, the clatter of the diesel engine does creep into the cabin. And that's more so in the zoom mode. Yes, there are 3 drive modes, only on the diesel, like on the XUV. They are zip, zap, zoom. Zip will stay a bit muted and aim for efficiency, while throttle response changes as you go up to zoom. With the Scorpio-N, you are going to get a lot of, let's say, preference when it comes to the manufacturing on the automatic variants. You're also going to see a lot more automatic variants. It starts from way down on the Z4 variant and up. So you have an automatic option all the way up the value chain, and that's something I think people will appreciate because Mahindra expects a greater demand for automatics. In fact, the first batch of production, all automatics. There is a glare issue though. The instruments are not easy to read in the afternoon when the sun is up high. The cowling over the instrument cluster should have been longer. Okay, time now to go gasoline. This one, also automatic. The petrol straight away comes across as even more refined. It's quieter and it does have a sense of urgency to it because, yes, you get a sense that this car is also a tiny bit lighter. All these are positive things in this particular aspect because if you want something that's even zippier and a little bit more responsive, petrol is the way to go for you. The gearbox responds nicely to an urgent requirement of torque and power. So even if you quickly slam down the accelerator while you're cruising, it nicely downshifts and gives you that little extra burst. The nice thing also here is that there is ample amount of torque available. It's not lacking. It's not a huge problem going from diesel to petrol for me today for that reason. The engine is the M Stallion Turbo GDI, which, as I have been saying for some time, is a great investment that Mahindra has made. It does duty across its range of cars and will also be a huge asset to the upcoming compact SUV that will complete Mahindra's portfolio. There we're coming out of this corner, building up from about 2000 RPM back to 3000 RPM, and there you go, kicks in beautifully. You don't get any sense of lag, you don't get that little bit of hesitation either. I mean, the old car, of course, petrol's been long gone, but you never got response really from the old car. This one is a different kettle of fish. You get a sense of turbo lag only below 2000 RPM, and that too when you are coming to a very sudden slowdown or a quick drop in speed. That's when there's a little bit of hesitation, but otherwise, it's nice and smooth. The Scorpio wouldn't be a Scorpio or a true SUV if it did not offer four-wheel drive capability. That's only on the diesel variant though. Varied options on the drive systems on the new Scorpio. So you have the rear-wheel drive, the two-wheel drive option, which is very much available across the range. You've got the more basic or the regular 4x4 option carried over from the Thar in a sense. And then you've got the more sophisticated XPLORE four-wheel drive system. That's what I'm driving right now. This is available at the top end, and what it gives you is this little rotary dial which allows you to have different drive modes. So you've got normal mode, you've got grass, gravel, snow, you've got mud ruts and sand. 4 options to go through. You also have the 4 low option here, or the 4 high. On the regular one too, it's a rotary dial that lets you engage and switch to the 4x4 function. The interesting thing though is that this is not an all-wheel drive system, not what you get on the XUV700, and so it's not all-time all-wheel drive. It only kicks in when you turn it on, and for the most part, the car continues as a rear-wheel drive SUV. Mahindra was clear about adding the 4L and 4H options, but like I said earlier, no mechanical lever. And it's not an all-wheel drive so that users have that greater sense of control, and yet the sophistication of a modern system. The Scorpio's ground clearance remains pretty good, but its wheel travel has increased over the last car. The wading depth is 500 millimeters. Traction control and stability control, or ESC, are also mapped to work well with the four-wheel drive variants to distribute torque to the front and rear axles. When you turn 4x4 off, the car reverts to its rear-wheel drive state. The Scorpio comes with a lot of safety equipment as standard. That includes the ring structure construction with 41% high-strength steel. And then there is 11% ultra-high-strength steel too, meaning over half the structure uses high or ultra-high-strength steel. The last car had none. ISOFIX, dual airbags, ABS and EBD are standard. ESC, hill, hold and descent kick in from the Z4 variant. The top end gets 6 airbags. That includes the side and curtain airbags. And that front parking camera and sensors too, like I said. Tire pressure monitoring and tire direction indicator and rollover mitigation are also on offer. Crash test results are awaited still on the Scorpio. Prices for the car's automatic and 4x4 variants will be declared on July 21st, and then bookings will open at the end of that month. Prices that we do know are more or less in line with expectations, but they're not aggressive. Mahindra has said it wants to take on everything from compact SUVs like the Kia Seltos at one end, the Tata Safari, and also the Toyota Innova in the middle, and even SUVs a segment higher like the Fortuner at the top end. I have to say, I personally would have preferred if this had been a conventional hatch. I just think that's more practical, more convenient, and you don't have to have all carryovers from the previous model like the side opening door here. But that said, This is a massively improved car. It takes many leaps forward. It is a car that will impress most people once they get into it, spend any amount of time with it, because of its sheer level of refinement. The thing that I mentioned right at the start, I would have liked for it to be even more modern, more aggressively progressive in its design. That's something I feel could have been done a lot better. Outside of that, the Scorpio is a winner, and get ready for long waiting periods on this one too.